welcome back to Forbit. This is the first Lotus video in a while, where specifically we will be working on the front clamshell and the rear clamshell, and that'll be part one of hopefully finishing them up. Maybe next video, hopefully next video, we'll be finishing up the front and rear clamshells, and then we can move on, which I'll talk more about at the end of this video. But yeah, enjoy the next half hour of me annoyingly working on the same panel like a million times. I actually cut out so much footage and decided not to film in some areas because I just kept redoing the same panel a million times and driving myself crazy. But anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. We start off by making an inverse mold of the one corner of the clam which had broken off. So I taped the corner back onto the piece, which originally was a fiberglass filler repair, and took a mold of it so that we could come back and make the corner fully fiberglass instead for strength. But spoiler alert, I kind of failed miserably here and sanded the excess away off camera, starting from scratch later. I sanded the door for gray filler primer, correcting some areas with a lightweight body filler called Glazing putty. Using the mold created earlier, I put a release agent, also known as plastic wrap, over the mold and then the fiberglass, placing it onto the corner needing fiberglass. The other side's corner had the same issue, but I tried a different method of attaching fiberglass behind it and guiding it into a rough shape with tape. The mold trick was used the second time here because it never seems to leave a perfect shape the first time. And since I had difficulties with the corner, I resorted to using the tape trick instead on the passenger side too because it worked for the driver's side. I also tried making a mold on the cracked portion of the rear clamshell, but I doubt I'll use this later either. Switching gears, I turned to the rear clam hatch jambs, where I tried to blend the green paint with the areas that I scraped off with a razor for some stupid reason. You can't get a razor in curved areas to scrape the paint, and the paint does have thickness to it, so you have to try and blend it by sanding the transitioning edge. My past self was extremely effective at sabotaging my formerly future self throughout the entirety of this project, and that's for sure. Unhappy with how imperfect the work on the rear clamshell was, I sanded down my work and began attempting to make a perfectly curved body line, which took forever. I also was redoing the seam that runs alongside the underside of the duckbill spoiler clamshell thing. And something like this appears so easy to do, but in reality it becomes extremely difficult to sculpt perfectly. It's like working with clay, but the clay is changing in consistency and turning to rock before you can actually shape it well. And then it sticks to your hands, and yeah. Yes, my former repair did in fact break at another area. However, I did induce this myself because I was stress testing it with my thumb to make sure that I fixed anything I need to now rather than later when it's already painted and more difficult to fix. Unfortunately, it was lacking strength, so I taped a piece back to make a mold from it for later on, and well, you've seen this plenty of times by now. Now, here's an issue I was having for a long time and still having a hard time resolving it. This body line here is supposed to butt up perfectly with the door, but as you can see in this picture, it doesn't. I determined that some of my foundation of a repair was uneven, so I scraped it all off and started fresh. Unfortunately, the accident paired with my exuberant Dremel work left little to determine the correct body line from, so I'm mostly in the dark here. I'm just trying to shape it the best as I can get it, I guess.
My wine glass is now empty. Everyone is a miracle. Every rose is beautiful. I'm just coming around like a little girl in town. In the streets that are moving fast. Life doesn't take too much gas. Someday I'm just rolling around with a little girl in town. Walk me to the show. 40 ounces espresso. Did like 6 years ago. We'll share cheese fries. I can see it in your eyes. It's better to in the fun. I'm going over all the time. Why don't you play in my mind? How I like not to make a sound. Little girl in town. They are looking irresponsible. Get my lecture has full. If I die, I can't fall down. With a little girl in town. Up through the back door. Do you love me anymore? Moscato, what we pour. I'm with all my friends. We do the most, but it depends. Forget it, we like to sin. I'm going over all the time. Why don't you play in my mind? How I like not to make a sound. Little girl in town. They're looking irresponsible. Get my lecture has full. If I die, I can't fall down. With a little girl in town.
That'll be all for this video. Like I said earlier, the next video, which will be episode 16, will be finishing up the front and rear clamshells, hopefully, right? And then the video after that, which is episode 17, will be going back and revising pretty much everything else, right? The fender flares I'm not too happy with. They're not perfectly arched, right? They don't look perfect. So I'm going to redo some of that. I'm also going to fit everything up against the car and see how it looks, see what I need to fix, blah, 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 before paint, right? At least that's the kind of formulation of my plan in my head, but the execution of said plan is entirely up in the air. But anyways, stay tuned to see if I will follow through on my plan. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching as always. And I'll see you in the next video.
Do it again.
I'm so happy.